Yo, yo, yo. What's up, Chris? How's your weekend? Yeah, that's a good idea. Everyone should just turn their notifications on for my YouTube. That way I don't have to send the link every time, but it's all obviously up to you guys. We'll start in 2 minutes just to give everyone some time. Chris, can you hear the music? Spot, yeah. I'll go into. It seems like I can't see the amount of viewers I have for some reason. Oh, you can't hear music? I gotta figure out how to add that. Yeah, I'll do spot quick. Hold on a second. All right, so we have a few people. It says 6. It is what it is. What's up, Nick? How you doing? All right, let's go over spot since that was what you wanted to see. Um, Let me delete everything. I'll go over fresh. So, I mean, just looking at the chart on the daily, looks like a head and shoulders, right? We have the left shoulder, head, and now the right shoulder. We kind of did break the neckline. I would consider this the neckline. Um, but we are right at support, right? We're right at 211.10, which is this previous support level before it reversed and moved back to the upside. But now we came back down. and we're retesting this level. We are pretty oversold, right? MACD and RSI are pretty low here. Um, so potentially, I mean, it could potentially see a bounce here. But if it falls through, we also have a tiny gap fill right here, right? It's a tiny gap, but gaps usually get filled. Um, so next level below that is right around this 196 level. So about a 15-point drop if we do break below this. But the gap is at, let's see what the gap is at. 206.54. So if we drop below 211.10, you potentially have a support right around 206.54. And then if that fails, 196.75 will test. But yeah, I don't see any good setup here. Let's check the smaller time frame. Whoops. Yeah, so nothing really too special here. I would just stay away from this personally if it doesn't hold, especially. I mean, it could be good for puts, but I personally don't play puts. My weekend was good. How was yours? Let's go over, let's see what SPY is doing. So SPY following this trend line very well. All right, we dipped below it here, but we reclaimed it. We've just been riding these EMAs, right? We hold these 821 EMAs all along this trend. So, why not just continue, right? Make the trend your friend. It's strong. SPY is so strong. We just broke the highs again. Honestly, my target is just going to continue to go higher as we move higher. No need to try and predict a downturn because this thing could just keep going. I mean, we could see 455 this week, 450 this week. Don't doubt the market. So let's just keep playing. What the market gives us. It's very, very strong, and it's over the 8 and 21 EMA currently. So I mean, unless it dips below the 8 EMA, then we could potentially play it to the 21 EMA. But yeah, market is pretty strong. Not oversold or overbought. It's right in the middle, so it's neutral. So we just gotta, continue to see what's going on. QQQ, I think QQQ looks very strong. The Qs. If we take a look at the smaller time frame, we have this support, right? Higher and higher lows, right? One higher low and another higher low, right? So that shows strength. And then we have this top trend line, which broke out, consolidated, and then at the end of the day, broke out again, right? So we created a flag, and then we created another flag and broke out, and now we're right at this previous resistance, right? So if we can break over this 368.89 level, I think we'll test the highs again and make a new high either this week or next week. So Qs look very strong, so I think, that's why tech should have a good week. Looks really good. I love these setups. IWM. I'm not sure if you guys follow my Twitter or not, but I posted a pretty decent tweet about this. This looks really, really good, right? So we've had some long-term consolidation for about a year now on small caps. This is set for a big move. So the only thing that's concerning me is this right here. A potential rising bearish wedge. So I mean, if we do break down and then we break below this blue line here, which is the 236. Let me extend the line so there we go. Which is the 236. Then I would be cautious. But taking a look at the weekly, look at the indicators. What's up, Lotus? Good evening to you as well. Take a look at the indicators. This just looks like a textbook wave 4, right? We have our wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and now our wave 4, A, B, C, D, E, right to the 236, right? Take a look at these candles. Very strong candles, right? They all held, and they all are like bullish hammers. So that just shows that there's strength. If these 8 and 21 EMA candle or lines can hold, and we could bounce to the upside, my target is around 300. I think we should start to rotate to small caps, right? QQQ and SPY have been on a rampage. There's been no love in small caps, right? We've just been moving sideways. So I think soon we get that rotation. If we can break over this 224.44 level, which is where we rejected almost for two to 3 weeks now, I think we'll start to see some momentum, and the RSI and the MACD will start to curl back to the upside, and we'll get a test to all-time highs. So that's what I'm looking at for this week, or even next week. All right, let's get into the tickers. Apple looks amazing this week, right? We had that nice run. We had amazing consolidation, right? A, B, C, D, E, right to the 0.5. And then we just had that breakout on Friday or Thursday and Friday. We broke over that level that we needed to break, 148.04. And now we are right below the highs, which is expected. You see a breakthrough, consolidation, right? Consolidation is extremely important. People are taking their profits, and now people are looking to get back in right as soon as we break that 150 level. What's up, Christian? Hope everything's going well. MACD and RSI look amazing. We just had earnings, which were great. Dividend, it's out of the way now, so we don't really have any events coming up that can manipulate the price action. So over 150, we should see a move to my target, which is 158. Okay, that is just wave 1 all the way to wave 3, and then a pullback to wave 4 with the fib extension. So 618 is a wave 5 target, so we should see 158 if we break 150. Looks primed. Plus the flow was very, very good. Also, about the dashboard, we just added these filters. You could do volume greater than open interest, which is super important. You could do out of the money calls and out of the money puts, right? So out of the money calls, it filters so every current call is higher than the spot of the price. So that indicates a bullish bet, basically, because they're taking an out of the money bet. And then you could do volume greater than open interest to show, where the new money is flowing into. Like, look at this, an 820 for Hood. Right, so that's this upcoming Friday. A 58 call, which is $7 out of the money. It looks like they sold them, so they were probably taking profits. But what I do is I just filter for bullish. Since it's really all I play, I filter for sweeps and I filter for calls. So and then I just, remove them off the table because I don't need them. And this is what I look at. This is how I filter my table. Out of the money calls, volume greater than open interest. Yes, this is recorded. This will be posted to my YouTube right after. I usually look for orders over 100,000. So for that, I just do greater than or equals 100,000, enter, and then it filters that. And this is what I watch when I trade. There's not many alerts, which is nice. You don't have to, see 20 a day. And look at, when you see this, I look for repeat sweeps. And when you take a look at this, you see the same tickers over and over again, right? You see Apple, all out of the money. You also see a ton of AMD. I see Save once, twice. Here's Starbucks. So this is super interesting because C-Blast brought this to our attention, right? We see an 11/19 120 call for $974,000. We see another Starbucks call on this list, another 120 call for 1.1 million. So that being said, let's take a look at Starbucks. Yeah, of course, this will definitely be recorded, and you could definitely watch it later. So, okay, I haven't looked at Starbucks in a while. Um, but this looks really nice, right? We had the cup and handle right off the point 0.5 before it flew to the upside. Now we have a falling wedge, right? It looks like it's so close to breaking. Um, that looks nice. All right, just like that, something like that, whatever it is. Looks so good. Um, and then we have some resistance right on here, right? We rejected here, rejected there. So I'm liking over like 117.77 or even 118.98. Um, this looks very good. I'm going to set my alerts on this, add this to my watch list. And indicators look very, very bullish. I really like this. The flow is so there. What else do we see? So save was also there, so I kind of want to look at save. This is Spirit Airlines, so they're taking bets on maybe something happens this week with airlines. We also have this support, so we could see people playing the reversal, right? They're taking 2023 leaps though, so it's kind of a really long term. So it's a long term bet. Another thing that you could do to make this even more of a bullish scanner, you could do for 1 to 2 weeks out. So I would do that, and then that's what it would filter. Or you could do like monthlies, which is today is the 15th. So let's go with the 17th. Less than the 17th. And look what we have. We have Apple and AMD. So that's what the bullish bets are on coming up, which makes sense because take a look at the setup for Apple. This is as bullish as it gets. Indicators are primed, setup is there, and the flow is there. Apple is going to be a great trade once it breaks 150. So this is what we want to watch this week. Apple. Let's take a look at Light. Decent money on it. This kind of looks like a planned trade though because they did purchase 700 flat. This goes back to when I look for odd lot contracts, right? Someone's buying 13, 13, 12, 12, 11, 19, right? Someone wants to be filled very quickly on as many contracts as possible, right? It's not a planned trade of just 700 contracts. So it's another thing to look for when you're looking at the flow. Let's go over a couple of the setups that I wanted to cover. That way you guys can see what I'm looking at this week, and then I'll go over some chart requests and whatever you guys want to see. Roblox. So I know this is on a lot of people's eyes. We just broke out of this long-term falling wedge. We broke out. We retested. We broke out again. That was a huge green candle. We pulled back, and now it looks like we are bouncing right off support. We have this downtrend channel, more of a falling wedge. But I drew this line because we bounced again, and then we found some support. We pulled back to the EMAs, and it looks like we're continuing, and we want to see some more upside. So this is on my watch list this week. If we can break over this region, 85, 80, or even just the high candle, I think we see some continuation. Right, A21 EMA just crossed as well, so this should continue to see some more upside this week. Neo, another one on my watch list. We are at support here, so if we can hold and see a reversal and maybe break out. We did just have earnings. They had a great earnings, 30% better than expected. Potentially break out and see some upside finally. This has been a tough ticker. Yeah, Roblox, there's a ton of hype, so it could be pretty manipulative, but we'll see what happens. Just wanted to put it on your guys' watch list. Neo, obviously, super popular ticker. but just wanted to, yeah, I don't even know anyone that plays it either, but the setup looks good. So, you know, if you play technicals, all you should really care about is what the setup looks like, right? Um, Bitcoin, yeah, I haven't looked at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at that after. So Neo setup looks great if this holds. If not, then I wouldn't even touch it. DraftKings, another one that's setting up beautifully. We had that inverse head and shoulders. We had that perfect breakout, and we rejected this resistance twice this week. And then we just broke through on Thursday. And then Friday, we pulled back and are now testing the old resistance as a new support. So if this can hold here, super, super bullish. Looking for an entry over that 54.72 level, right? That's my entry point, which is why I have the alert set right before it. I'll move this up a little bit right there. We have that 821 EMA bull cross. We just had earnings, which weren't as good as expected, but the setup looks primed. If we can break this 54.72 level, first target's 56. Over 56, you know, we should see some big upside. My final target is 67, which is the wave 3 target. Really like this. I think I would go at 9/17 contracts, September 17th contracts to play the full run up. I wouldn't really look for a weekly trade because I would want to take advantage of the full 821 EMA cross, which would give us a pretty decent size run, hopefully. TTWO. So I'm watching this more for a shorter term setup. We have a huge gap to fill above this 163.62 level, but we do have a flag right here. So we did break out and then we pulled back and now we're retesting. So if we can get a move back to the upside and hold over 161.33 and then break over this 163.62 level, we could potentially see a 10-point run all the way to 173. So that's why I'm watching this. Have to set my alert set already, as you can see. So I'll be watching this for sure. Set another alert just in case. Twilo. This is another name that kind of looks like, what was it? I think Roblox. Yeah, so we have a falling wedge. Falling wedges are my favorite setup. Bullish indicators, right to support, right? Bounced, and holding once again. So if we can break out of this and potentially break over this 379 level, right? We have multiple rejections across the board, which used to be support, which is why I drew this line where it is. I think we can continue to see upside, which is the wave 5 target. The 618 is 432. So definitely watching this week. I think we can see a nice run on Twilo this week. Next up on my list is Amazon. So the daily chart looks decent. I mean, we did just break below this white line here, which was old support. But the indicators are starting to be pretty bullish. And also on the smaller time frame, we have just a decent looking setup here, right? So on the 5-minute, we have a nice wedge break. All right, so this is what I'm watching this week. I think we could do a nice little scalp here, right? We have a falling wedge, and a break over this 32.96 level. I think we could potentially test 33.14, which would be a nice little scalp. So definitely keep this on your watch list. Set your alert right before it. I'm going to set my alert right here. We did see great momentum into the close on Friday, which showed significant strength, especially if we have QQQ run up this week. These names should run, right? Apple, Amazon should run. So totally keep your eye on this list, or on this name, excuse me. Next up, Tesla. Tesla was a huge winner last week, personally. Right, we had that flag break, and now we pulled back, consolidated a little bit, and on the smaller time frame, we have a triple bottom, right? We have 1 bottom, 2 bottom, and now 3 bottom. On the daily, right? We have to have these EMAs catch up, right? So maybe one more day of consolidation possibly. But if we break the 727 level, 726.94, but 727 just to make it easy or easy to remember. My target still is 780. I think we test 780 very soon. So just keep an eye out on Tesla. Smaller time frame looks very, very good, right? We have that triple bottom. If this holds, we should definitely see some upside. On the smaller time frames, I might just play a scalp over 720.49 and hold it up to 727. That would be a nice little scalp, probably about 30 to 40% on a weekly option. So definitely keep this on your eye. Set your alerts as always. Another name to watch, Mara. Right, so I used a pitchfork on this one just to show you, how you can use different tools. But with Bitcoin being very strong, we just had our wave 3 as predicted. Now we're pulling back to old resistance, right? So this resistance should act as a new support. It did with this candle. Now it should with this candle. We're also testing this white line, which is a previous support. Right, pulling back to the EMAs, right? So people are taking profits up here. A little pullback, right, to old resistance, which should be new support. And with Bitcoin ripping, I think we should test around 41, which is my final price target, which is also the top of the pitchfork, right? From the bottom to the pivot point, all the way back to the downside candle, gives us to the top of the pitchfork, which lines up perfectly. Yeah, Bitcoin's been doing very well. Another name that's breaking out is QCOM. So if tech does well, this should do well as well. Right, we had multiple areas of support across the bottom, and then we had a flag created. EMAs caught up, started to consolidate a little bit, and we broke out right on the end of the day, Friday. So I think this sees some continuation. And over this orange line that I have drawn on 151.78, we have a huge gap to fill to 161. So you can see I have my alert set already. I have one here and then one on the orange line. But I think we see a huge run if we can break this 151.78 level. Felt like I should include this one because it is a pretty nice setup, right? Higher and higher lows, lower and lower highs. We do have a gap to fill. They did have a bad earnings, which is what caused the big gap. But it seems like we're holding here. And if we can break this level, 119.55, I think we'll test 120.70. And over 120.70, we should see a gap fill to 124. So just wanted to include this just to put this on your watch list, or just to, have your eyes look at this just to keep it in the back of your mind. Another potential name that I like is MSTR, MicroStrategy. Kind of looks like a bunch of other tickers that we took a look at today. We pulled back right to the EMAs and right to this support level after seeing a nice run up break out of that flag. So I do think we can see some continuation, right? We have multiple rejections across the board, which makes sense, right? At this 809 level. I think we might have rejected 800 perfectly. Nope, 798. So if we can break 798, 800 level, we should break. And the next resistance point is not until 882. So this could see a massive run up. I'm going to set out another alert just so I don't miss this run up. Not going to go over that one. Square, definitely a great setup. Right, we broke out, and now we're using this old resistance as a potential new support here. The smaller time frame kind of looks like a falling wedge a little bit. Let's see. Whoops. Right, so we kind of have a falling wedge here. Let me change the color. I'll just do blue. Right, so we kind of have a falling wedge right to old support or new support, whatever you want to call it. confluence, right? We have indicators bullish, we have declining volume, and we have this support and this white line of support. So I'm going to set my alert right around here and definitely watch this week. All right, make sure you set your alerts. Disney, just wanted to put this on your watch list. Great earnings. They broke out of this wedge, and we just pulled back to old resistance, right? We rejected here, which used to be support, right? If I drag this right around here, or even like right around here, whatever it is, right? Old resistance became new support multiple times, 3 times, and then it acted as resistance, so now we should potentially see a reversal right in this area, and maybe some continuation all to new highs. Starbucks we went over. All right, let's go over some chart requests. So let me start at the top here. We did spot already. What else should we check out? LCID and XOM. Okay, LCID setup looks great. I already have it charted. Higher and higher lows, lower and lower highs. You can see I have my alert set, waiting for this break. Right over 25.24 is my area of entering. I love the setup. As long as this holds, this is very, very bullish. XOM. So XOM, let's check it out, right? So we kind of have a little bit of a falling wedge here. So if this candle can hold and we could potentially see a breakout, then, right, we could potentially see a move back to the upside. I'll take a look at the fibs, since I love falling wedge fibs right to like the 618. Yep, so look at that. Perfect. A falling wedge or a bull flag right to the 618. Hopefully this holds. If it doesn't, then I would just ignore it. But this should hold right here, and we should see some upside. All right, my targets would be, right, this is old resistance, which then acted as a new support. So 57.90, I would like to see a break of that. Over that, you got to test the high of the flag, 59.33. So honestly, that's a pretty decent setup. Okay, Zoom. So we did Twilo already. Let's do Zoom now. So here's Zoom. I already have it charted. We do have earnings coming up, and with all the COVID shenanigans, this could be a great play if things start to shut down again. This line has acted as a resistance about 4 times now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And it looks like we're going to test this previous support, which was, I could delete the blue line. Let's see if I can click it. I can't even get it. Whatever. But yeah, old support became a new resistance, and now it's a new support again. So if this line doesn't hold, I wouldn't even touch it. But if 345 can hold, and we see a bounce and maybe a break over 404, we could potentially test like 450, which is this level right around here, this zone. But take a look at the volume profile, right? Most of it's right here. So this is going to be a tough level to break. This 400 to 380 to 400 level is going to be tough. So we did Zoom, Twilo we did, SE let's do. I don't really like to play the names that have broke out already. But all right, we have this trend line, right? We have 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3, 4, 5. So what can you expect? You can expect that we either see a pullback to this blue line or we continue higher. We have this line right here, right? We rejected this 297 line. We rejected it again. We broke through just now, and now we're holding that as a new support. So if this 297 level can hold, definitely can see some continuation. It looks pretty decent, honestly, right? We're at new highs. We had so much consolidation here. So this wants to run, but we do have ER on Tuesday. So just be aware that this can totally affect what happens here. Let's check out Bitcoin because that was next. Bitcoin is totally ripping it. Bitcoin is ripping. So this kind of looks like a bunch of the stocks that we just checked out. Right, we had a wedge, a breakout, a flag, and now you see I have this pink line drawn because I'm waiting for a pullback to this line and then more upside. But with Bitcoin ripping, make sure you have your eye on Coin, Mara, Riot, just a bunch of crypto names in the stock market. Zoom, we checked out. No problem. Here's Zoom again. Just watch that 345 level. You can even put this on. I like using these candles because it gives a clearer picture of what the trend is. Sometimes I use those candles just to chart. HD, let's check out. So talk about a V-shaped recovery and a flag break. Continued upside. We do have earnings coming up on Tuesday, so be aware. But look at that. It's following this trend line perfectly, right? We have old resistance right here. We broke through that. So we can just, honestly, this is a great setup. I wouldn't touch this though because we do have earnings on Tuesday. But if we get a good earnings, I would just play the pivot point break, the all-time high break, which is right at 345.69. Right, or you can obviously play the top of the candle. So great setup on this, but earnings are Tuesday, so I'll stay away. ROL. What is this? Don't know what it is, but I feel like it looks good on the weekly. Yeah, so we have that line. Kind of an inverse head and shoulders a little bit. Right, I love looking at charts and just seeing how price action works. Right, we have this old resistance point and we bounced perfectly right off of it. Indicators look pretty decent. This is a little overextended. But yeah, this needs over this blue line. Once it breaks, it should go. So over 39.32, it could definitely see some more upside. Not sure. Oh, can. I haven't looked at can in a long time. Wow. So honestly, potentially might have found its bottom. Um, let's see what we got here. I don't know if I like that. So here's a pro tip. So you see how I was just like fidgeting with the chart, seeing what I could make of it. That's like not what you should do. If if there's a setup, it should come to you right away, right? Like you see, I was just trying to like make a setup out of this. The only thing that I potentially see that catches my eye is a wedge here on the smaller time frame. So this is actually a great example. So thank you for bringing this to my attention. Um, right, the only really setup we have here is this little wedge here. Right, we have a move to the upside, some sideways consolidation. So a break over this blue line, I would consider it. Um, but on the daily, there's really no setup here. Um, volume, right? Average volume's 8 million. Volume on Friday was around 6, so lower than normal on a move to the upside. So yeah, honestly, I wouldn't even touch this. I'll add an alert right here for the top of the wedge. So if price does reach that point, I would consider calls. Um, but for now, I'll stay away. Chewy. Let's check out Chewy. So another name that's been pretty strong. We do have earnings coming up on September 1st, so 2 weeks. We had that inverse head and shoulders. We had the break above previous resistance. And now we closed right above that 95.30. What is this blue line here? Weird. We have a close right above that 95.35 previous support. So if we can hold this level, it's kind of a bearish candle, but I don't really look at candles too hard. We do have a close above, which is the best case scenario. EMAs are bullish, right? We're in an obvious uptrend. So if we can hold over this 95.35 level, we could potentially see some more upside. NVIDIA. So this can either be bullish, or very bearish. We do have earnings this week. We do have multiple touches across the board, right? Higher lows and lower highs. So it's getting tighter, right? EMAs are tight. So we can expect either a big move to the upside or a big move to the downside. Ideally, if we can break over 207.33, we'll test the highs and we'll break higher. If not, and if we break below this previous low, whoops, hit the wrong one. If we break below 194.30, we'll potentially test this bottom candle, which, as you could see, was old resistance and it became new support. It also split right here. But yeah, setting up for a nice move. Snapchat. Again, setting up as well. We had that huge earnings gap, and now we've been consolidating sideways. So if we can break to the upside, my target's around 90. But if we break around to the downside, first target is the 71.83 level, and then we have a little gap to fill to 70. So definitely keep this on your eye. I'm actually going to add this to my watch list for this week. Tiger. What do we got here? I don't really see a setup. The only thing I would do is play this over this high, which I'll set an alert. Not really a good setup here, right? I'm not going to try and make a setup out of no setup. Yeah, that's what I have to say for that. Nothing really too special. QS, don't even look at this. I mean, this is just disgusting. This is another one of those names that I just wouldn't touch. Right, it had that parabolic move to 132, and then it's just been straight down since. Yeah, nothing really too special here. MU. So, okay. Old support is holding as a new support as well. Um, right? So you could definitely like cherry pick here, right? Play the bottom, potentially play this gap right here. But other than that, it failed the falling wedge break, right? We resisted right where I had my line, and you know, not a good setup in my opinion. LAC, Lithium Americas Corp. Let's check it out. All right, so we have old resistance acted as a new support, acted as another area of resistance, and we just had that spike through this level. So if we can hold these yellow lines, maybe consolidate a little bit longer, and then break above, you could potentially play it. But this is not a setup that I would play. OKTA. So this is pretty decent. All right, so we have multiple touches across the bottom. We rejected this level twice, this blue line, but we are holding this low. So if this, right, we have old resistance became a new support right here. If this level can hold again and we can start to move back to the upside and break out, I would consider playing this over this level of 253.72. But if not, you can assume that we will move back to the downside and test this again. We also have earnings coming up 2 weeks, so be aware. But yeah, this is a pretty decent setup if we can break to the upside. I'm actually going to share this watch list. I'll make this public. I'll copy the link and I'm going to send it in this chat. That way you could follow my watch list if you want. So there, I sent it. I'll also send it in analyst watch list. So I just posted it in here, right under where I put the stream link. So here's my watch list. Any names that I add to this list will be on that public watch list. So you can click that and see what I am following if you like. So just another option for you guys to take a look at. I'm sure you can save it. So just keep an eye on that. Anything else you guys want to see besides chart requests? Starbucks we covered, but I'll just bring it up one more time. Maybe you weren't here, but we have this cup and handle bullish indicators across the board. Right, MACD, RSI, pretty bullish. We had earnings, we had the dividend already, so there's nothing in the way to affect this falling wedge. Right, again to the 0.5. This level is holding, so it's bullish. Looking for a break to the upside. Very, very bullish flow. Right, we have 1119 120 call for $1 million. That's new money, right? The volume exceeds the open interest. We have another Starbucks call here. Looks like the same buyer. All right, they put about $1 million into both. So $2 million into Starbucks. PLTR I did. Earnings made it fucking, or excuse my language. Sorry, that slipped. Um, we had higher and higher lows, Launchpad, EMA 821 cross. Now we're consolidating a little bit. So watch for a move over this candle, right? 2576. We should test 2750. Over that, pretty clear skies to the upside with a little gap to fill right around the 30 mark. So watch that. Looks pretty good. AMD, I think, I don't know if I covered or not, but I like it. We just broke this downtrend, right? This was all profit taking after the huge move, so we could definitely see some continuation back to the highs of 120. EMAs are caught up, so it's a bullish sign. CRSR, let's check it out. Don't even touch this, right? There's no trend here. It's just sideways since November of last year. Almost a year of consolidation. Not something that you want to touch. Amazon I covered already. If it can get back up over this trend line, I think we hit new highs. But the smaller time frame looks very, very good. We have a falling wedge break, and over 32.96 is my trigger to go long. Qualcomm has come a long way from when I seen it at 75 bucks. Yeah, it's at 150 now. I used to trade this name when it was like back in 2017, like right around here. I think I used to trade it. I'm pretty sure I traded this falling wedge on the weekly back in 2017. Yeah, because this was a nice falling wedge break. This was in 2017, and it was almost a perfect falling wedge. Whoops, falling wedge break. Right, upside falling wedge, and I'm pretty sure I scalped it or played it right over that candle, and we had a huge run up from 54 to about 68, 69, maybe even 70. Now we're all the way up here. Space, not touching. We just broke this trend line, so I'm bearish on it for now. CRSR we just did. Didn't we just do CRSR? Yeah, CRSR I'm not touching. Don't even touch this. Right, we've been consolidating. That's basically all this chart is consolidation. It's just a good way to get burned. Any questions besides chart requests? Here's the dashboard. Oh, I forgot to show you guys. New dashboard. We just integrated charts. So if you click a ticker, chart comes up, and now you can check it out right on the platform. So you don't have to keep switching. You can even chart on here. You could add indicators, right? So if I wanted to add like the MACD, you can add MACD. All right. You could really do a ton. $821 EMAs is just it's a common strategy. $821 EMA crossover. It's well known. Indicates what the trend is and when the trend will flip. But here is the charts integrated right into it. We also have, if we do this, right, snapshot, you could see the top bullish flow and the top bearish flow. Historical, so you can go back to any time previous. And then we have a chart tab, which is just a larger format. I kind of want to see this on Apple. So, I mean, that lines up pretty perfect, right? This line to this line lines up perfectly to the 618. So, kind of interesting that I just saw that. Um, this is a nice channel, right? Let's do the parallel channel here. Right, so here to there. Kind of works out perfectly. Change the color so you could see it easily. Change it to like um, orange. All right, like that works perfect, right to the highs. Um, yeah, and this is the dashboard for now. We have a copy and paste feature coming, so that way instead of like screenshotting it, you could just hit like a copy button to post it either on Twitter or into the Discord. All right, guys. So that's everything that I'm watching for this week. I covered all the tickers that you guys wanted to see. As always, this is going to be posted on the YouTube channel automatically. Ton of good setups this week, so we should have a good week. All right. Any last questions? Any last questions? If not, I will head out of here. You're very welcome. You are very welcome. Very, very welcome. I just searched um, out of the money calls, volume greater than open interest. So this is a very aggressive sweeps only, um, and expiration no later than the 27th. So 1 to 2 weeks. Um, no filter on money, so this is any amount of money. But take a look at the common factors here. We see Apple a ton of times. What else do we see? Here's 2 sweeps for IWM. Baidu again on a 160 call. Did we have Baidu down here again? No. XLU multiple times. And AMD. So it's just interesting to see what people are putting their money into. Google 2780 call. And on this chart, on the flow, you can rearrange it to move it however you like. So it allows for full customization. If you want to remove things off the table, you can remove them. And then if you wanted to reset the columns, you hit reset, or you can auto size them so they're all the same width. All right, and then you could reset it. You can export it to Excel if you wanted to save it, or you can and then clear it. And then if you wanted to stop the feed from coming in, you just turn off auto refresh. So super helpful. Let's check out the bearish flow. I don't really like to look at bearish flow. One, I mean, it could indicate that they're obviously bearish, um, but it also could be used as just hedging. People use options for hedging on their long-term plays. It's usually just ETFs, right? Like SPY, Tesla, the Qs. A lot of these orders are just flat numbers, right? Not a lot of odd contracts. Like this one's pretty interesting. Skills, um, an 11 put. Current price is 11.44. Um, and there was 5,033 contracts traded at 2.5. So, that's pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure we're making a filter to filter the premium paid, right? So like 31, like a contract under $100 per contract. I always liked looking at those, but not that much. Greater than 100,000. So there's four. Deep in the money. I mean, no, this is a put, so this is actually out of the money. I have the filter on. But yeah, just constantly go through everything, and just trying to improve your trading. And this is what it is. This is what trading is. All right, guys. If you have any questions, DM me, message one of us on in the Discord. We'll always answer you.